this is AYMB. Since I'm working on Opbr guides, I decided to do one for 60-second battle. It's super easy, but I'll give you some tips and tricks on how to get the achievement for this mode. With that said, I noticed that over 80% of you guys haven't subscribed yet, so if you're enjoying my content, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. Now, onto the intro.
I'm changing who I am. I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life, and I won't look back ever.
Every unit in the game has a medal associated with them, and the easiest way to get materials for these medals is to play 60-second battle. You could try grinding League Battle and hoping and praying you obtain the materials you want, but as a wise woman once said,
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
This is why 60-second battle is so important. This mode lets you grind metal materials for any unit that you have. If you don't have the unit, you're just so out of luck. But don't worry, there are plenty of important metals you have to grind in this mode. If you don't have any event metals to work on, grind some Luffy metal materials. Specifically, focus on Luffy, the Luffy and Law unit, or Bounce Man. Really just work on any Luffy metals as long as the trait doesn't have a constraint, just like the Luffy Toro metals. As long as you don't work on that one, you should be fine. Like with Survival 100, you have up to 2 chances and a 12-hour cooldown. For more chances, it's the same song and dance as my medals video and Survival 100 video, so you should know by now where they are, right? Anyway, there are 3 modes for 60-second battle. Normal, hard, and very hard. Normal has 2 enemies, hard has 3, and very hard has 4 enemies. Regardless of the mode you choose, you get 3 metal materials for capturing both flags, and some bounty coins dependent on the amount of flags you captured and the difficulty. While it's nice to get bounty coins in this mode, you can only gain up to 3,000 bounty coins, and the main focus is getting those metal materials. But just keep in mind that if you ever need some quick bounty coins, you can always get some from here. Now to explain 60-second battle itself. It's pretty straightforward. There are 2 flags and enemies ranging from 2 to 4 depending on the difficulty chosen. Capture either one flag or both flags within the time limit. You have about 1 minute to do this, which is more than enough time. The enemies you fight are either Straw Hats or Warlords, and you have 2 different maps, a Baratier and a Marineford variation. From what I can tell, these are not the same Baratier Marineford maps as League Battle, but you could be the judge of that. The enemies change every day or so you can check by going to schedule. Really, you don't have to worry too much about what enemies you get, but I will say, Blackbeard is a pain in the Also, like Survival 100, you can gain an achievement for 60-second battle, capture both flags on very hard mode. This can be tricky depending on your unit, but I'll give you some quick tips before moving on to a demonstration. Enemies tend to play their role, so attackers will attack you, defenders will go to their flags, or stop you from stealing theirs, and runners will take your flags. Take advantage of this knowledge when needed to secure both flags or make sure you don't get jumped by NPCs. Okay, I will use 3 different units, 1 attacker, 1 defender, and 1 runner. Anyway, as you can see, I clicked on schedule, and you can see all the enemies that you get depending on the day. So yeah, you get Straw Hats. The Straw Hats are pretty easy. Zoro's annoying because he'll go to the enemy flag and start filling up the gauge. Blackbeard's annoying because he usually gets knocked back, and you can't really one-shot him. Usually you have to wait until he gets up and gets rid of his shield to do so. I wouldn't say any of the Warlords are very hard. None of the enemies are really that hard, to be honest, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. I'm starting off with Blue Shanks. I just got him from the Light Shanks Blue Shanks banner, and as you can see, I've done nothing with him yet, and I haven't even used him before, so let's see how this goes. I really want to do a level 1 challenge with him. It's going good so far. His counter failed. Well, that was a clusterfuck, but hey, this is what it looks like when you lose. Also, keep in mind you'll win regardless of whether you capture one or both flags. You just won't get the achievement for very hard difficulty, and you'll probably receive fewer bounty coins. Anyway, let me try this again with Film Red Shanks. Now for attackers and defenders, I just get rid of the enemies first before I get the flags. That's mainly because only runners are fast enough to get the flag before the enemies start attacking you. After this, it's easy, just defend. It can be harder or easier depending on what unit you have, but like I said before, just take advantage of making sure you know the classes of your enemies and how they would operate. So if you have runners like, I think Dolphy, they'll usually go to the flag rather than you. You can take advantage of that. And as you could see, I got the achievement. Now, I'll do York because she's very fun in this mode. Anyway, just like with my Film Red Shanks, I'm just gonna get rid of the enemies first. Good thing about York too is that she's long range. And I just used her awesome napping skill to fill up the flag like crazy. York is so OP, especially in this mode. While this is much easier since I'm using 4 stars and have worked on them, you could do just fine with most units on level 60, boost 1, or no boost. And you probably don't even have to work on their skills, but again, it all depends on the unit. Kizaru, for example, I didn't have to boost him and I maxed out his skills. Also for Hakuba, didn't boost him either, and got his skills to level 3. Now I'm just gonna use Reiju as a runner, and I'll just explain how I do the runners because it's a little bit different. Not too much different though. My main strategy for runners is getting the flag as soon as possible. If I want to be a troll, I can dodge the enemies and capture the other flag, or I can KO the enemies and capture the other flag. Good thing about Reiju is her poison skill, so I could just get both enemies like that. Now I get rid of Brook. And yeah, just like attackers and defenders, I just protect the flags and attack the enemies that appear. I really do like using runners more than any other class in 60-second battle, but I guess that's only because, you know, the point of the mode is to capture flags. One last thing. When it says clear over the units, it means you cleared it, but depending on the mode selected or the enemies on that day, sometimes it says you haven't completed it. So why does it say that? Well, Tonpi thought it was a great idea to not only have an achievement for capturing both flags on very hard difficulty for each unit, but also, if you're a hardcore achievement hunter, you need to play all difficulties and fight all of the enemies with all 200 plus units. And keep in mind, there are Straw Hat Pirates, A and B, and there are Warlords, A and B, and I think also C. It's insane and takes who knows how long. Unless you're really an achievement hunter like that, you really don't have to do that. Especially if you're just going for the achievements. It's just something interesting to talk about. And that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, and click on notifications for any future videos. Thanks for watching and have a good day.
Jana!